What's up guys, LeftBurst here, and as you saw, we have a lot of Hasbro Beyblades. Now you're probably wondering, Noah, why did you buy so many Hasbro Beyblades? And that's because Hasbro actually sent us a care package. They sent us a box of just Beyblade goodies, and when I received this in the mail, I had the amazing idea to buy every single Hypersphere Hasbro Beyblade and do a whole entire video unboxing them. So yeah, let me just unbox this box that Hasbro gave me first. Of course, this is the free products that Hasbro gave me. Let's open it up. Let me just put that to the side. First off, we're gonna start off with this water bottle. They gave me this amazing Beyblade water bottle, and bro, everyone at high school, I mean, if we ever go back to school because of quarantine, but if we do go back to school, I'm gonna bring this and everyone's gonna be so jealous. And they also sent a Beyblade pencil bag. Guys, you can't get this at stores. This is exclusive stuff. And yeah, so they sent me a water bottle and a pencil bag, and they also sent me 3 different Beyblades. We have the starter Venom Devolos D5, and then we have a dual pack, which I think this is Rock Dragon D5 and Ogre 05. And finally, they sent us a single pack of Solar Sphinx S5. Anyway, thank you Hasbro for sending me these Beyblades. I got them a while ago, but again, I wanted to make a whole unboxing video of every single Hasbro Beyblade, so this video is coming out a while since they sent me it. Also, here is a little tournament, an online tournament for quarantine that Hasbro is doing. I think it ends May 10th, and I don't know when I'm gonna upload this. Hopefully it's before May 10th, and if it is before May 10th, enter to scan this code to enter the tournament, and you can win some online Beyblades on the LeftBurst app. Alright, so yeah, let's just get started unboxing all of the Hasbro Hypersphere Beyblades. Anyway, so yeah, let's just unbox all of the Hypersphere Beyblades. We're gonna start by unboxing the starters. First off, we have Venom Devolos D5. I'm not gonna look at the box because honestly, if I say everything that's on the box, this video is gonna take forever, so I'm just gonna rip this guy open. And yeah, unlike the Tomy Beyblades though, the Hypersphere Beyblades do not come with weights. They don't have any metal on them. Also, another thing to note is that unlike the Tomy Beyblades, the discs on these guys, they're very different than the Tomy ones, but you can customize frames on them, which is fairly interesting. Okay, so yeah, I'm not gonna unbox the launcher on all of them because all the launchers are the same. It's basically just a normal light launcher, which, I mean, the light launcher's not amazing, but it's not bad. We've definitely had worse light launchers, like the ones that Tomy releases. The proto launchers, those are horrible. I would definitely say these Hasbro launchers are probably better. Alright, so here is the Beyblade unboxed. Overall, I do like the color scheme. It's very anime accurate, which is really cool. I think the layer looks really nice. Then, of course, we have the disc and the driver, and the disc is pretty cool as well. It's basically Vanguard, except you can put a frame on it, and it also feels fairly heavy. And then finally, we have the driver, and this is like the Hasbro version of the bullet driver, and it's very different from the other Hypersphere Beyblades. If you look at the other Hypersphere Beyblade drivers, I don't know if you can see that, but they're a lot rounder. This one kind of has a sharper design, which is probably gonna perform fairly well in the stadium, at least I'm guessing. I don't know, I haven't used any Hypersphere Beyblades. Anyway, so yeah, that was Venom Devolos D5. Overall, a fairly good Hypersphere Beyblade. Next, we have Sword Valkyrie V5. Alright, so here is the Beyblade unboxed. Overall, I actually really like the blue color scheme. I think the blue color scheme looks really nice on this guy. It's very different than the Tomy one. It's a lot shinier, and also I will say, if you look at the bottom of the Beyblade, there's a code by the way. I will show all the codes later at the end of the video. But yeah, if you look at the bottom of the Beyblade, it's also somewhat hollowed out compared to the Tomy one. But I will say the color scheme looks really nice. I do like how the royal blue kind of shines and sparkles. Next up, we have the Blitz disc, the Hasbro Blitz disc, and this guy is a lot smaller than the Tomy one, but again, you can put a frame on it, which I don't have these guys because these are Hasbro exclusive discs, so if you buy the Tomy one, you can't get discs like these. And honestly, I do think that Tomy ones are better competitive wise, but these are really fun again because you can put the discs on them, and they come with brand new designs. So if like you're a collector and you want to collect all of them, they're pretty cool. Alright, and finally, here is the driver, and let me just compare it to the Devolos driver. It's again a lot rounder. Alright, next up we have Glyph Dragon D5. This is the Grand Dragon version of Hasbro. I like the name Glyph. Glyph is a really cool name. Anyway, let's unbox this thing. Ooh, the slopes on this thing's pretty good. Alright, so yeah, here is Glyph Dragon. Again, very anime accurate. I definitely do like the color scheme. Here is the Hasbro version of the Sting disc, and it looks like a stick. It's very linear, but again, you can put a frame on it. And then finally, here is the driver that comes on it. It is the power driver, and it actually looks really similar to the Takara Tomy power driver because the Takara Tomy power driver is also really big. Next up, we have Bushin Ashindra, and this is a red color scheme of it. I think the original green color scheme released in the Beyblade Burst Rise starter set. So yeah, if you want the real color scheme, you should get the starter set. I see what you're doing, Hasbro. You're making people buy the starter set to get the real color scheme, the anime accurate color scheme. Anyway, let's open this thing up. Alright, so here is the layer for Bushin Ashindra. Again, it's a really nice red color scheme, and I will say that these are a lot more hollowed out than the Takara Tomy ones, and they do feel a lot lighter. But again, like I said before, Hasbro, they're trying something different. They don't want to be like Takara Tomy because, of course, in this day and age, you can just buy stuff online. So if you really want the Takara Tomy products, you can buy the Takara Tomy products. But I feel like Hasbro's trying to do something different, which, if you think of Hasbro from that perspective, it's kind of admirable. Anyway, so yeah, here is the red Bushin Ashindra. Pretty cool. Next up, we have the disc. This is the Hurricane disc, and it is a very, very spiky disc, boyo. And unlike the normal Hurricane disc, which has a free spinning ring, this guy again does not have this free spinning ring. Instead, the free spinning ring turned into metal, and it doesn't spin. But you can put a frame on. I'm gonna stop saying you can put a frame on it because you can put a frame on all these things. And then finally, we have, whoa, what is this? That's whack. What the flip? This is an interesting driver. This is like the Keep version of Hypersphere, and yeah, that's fairly interesting. But I don't think it has metal. So I'm sorry, I don't think it has rubber, not metal, and it's not free spin. It's just a giant Keep driver. Next up, let's move on to Ace Dragon D5, and this guy, it doesn't come with its original color scheme either. It comes in this ugly green. I do not like this color scheme. No, this color scheme, I don't like green, guys. But yeah, the original color scheme does release in the starter set or the stadium set. So yeah, if you do want the original color scheme, you should buy this. And honestly, I wouldn't buy this guy because I don't like the color scheme. It's just ugly. Let's open it up. Alright, so here is the ugly layer of Ace Dragon, the color scheme. Oh, it's just yuck. I don't like the green, and I don't think it meshes well with the blue and the gold, but whatever. Moving on to the next part. We already saw these two parts, actually. These two parts released on Glyph Dragon. We have the Hasbro version of Sting, and then we have the Hasbro version of Power. Although I did see a Beyblade Geeks video where the drivers are actually different when you compare Ace Dragon to Glyph Dragon. Apparently, Ace Dragon's is slightly flatter, which gives it a more attack pattern, which yeah, if you can look at that, it does look like Ace Dragon's driver, although they do look very similar. It does seem a little bit flatter, which is kind of interesting. Okay, finally moving on to the final starter Beyblade. Here we have Judgement Joker J5. First off, we have the layer. Here is Judgement Joker, and unlike the Takara Tomy version, it does not have rubber. These pink parts are not rubber, but they are fairly strong contact points. I'm kind of curious to see how this guy performs in the stadium because the Takara Tomy Judgement Joker is really strong. Like, these points are really strong, so I kind of want to see, is it the shape of Judgement Joker or is it the rubber that makes Joker good? Honestly, I think it's the rubber, but we'll see when we test out in the stadium. Next up, we have the Double-O disc. Now, this is not a Hasbro original disc. Takara Tomy actually released this guy back on, I think it was Chozy Achilles, but yeah, it did release on the Takara Tomy Judgement Joker, so I guess they're putting it on this one as well. And finally, we have the Hasbro version of the Trick driver, which does look fairly similar to Trick. Trick is a very big driver, but it does not have the mode change that the Takara Tomy one does. Alright, so yeah, that was all of the starters. Shall we move on to the single packs or the dual packs? Let's move on. Let's do the dual packs next. Actually, before we move on to the dual packs, I did forget a starter pack. Here we have the brand new Fafnir. I guess it's kind of old now, but it's the newest Hasbro Fafnir. It's Wizard Fafnir F5. Let's unbox this guy. Here is the layer, and again, just like Judgement Joker, this guy does not have rubber, which is kind of weird because they did put rubber on Drain Fafnir, and Geist Fafnir had this cool gimmick where instead of rubber, they had like little ridges on it, so it gave it more friction. But this guy doesn't have ridges or rubber, although it does come in a really nice blue plastic. I wonder why they did that. Maybe because they thought its shape was already aggressive enough, which definitely does not help the Takara Tomy one. The Takara Tomy one bursts all the time, so I'm kind of curious to see how this one will do. So yeah, next up we have the Ratchet disc, or at least the Hasbro version of the Ratchet disc, and overall it kind of reminds me of a mixture of the 0 and the 5 disc, which is fairly interesting. Finally, we have the driver, and here is the Rise driver, and this thing, it's so weird looking. Like, I don't know how to feel about it. Like, it's big, but at the same time it's linear compared to like the normal Hypersphere drivers, but at the same time it's like super wide. It's a really wacky driver, and I don't really, when you compare it to the one that released on Takara Tomy, the original Rise driver, it doesn't look very similar at all, at least in my opinion. Alright, so yeah, now let's move on to the dual packs. The first one we have is Ogre R5. Hasbro, why did you release a Shrek Beyblade? And then we also have Rock Dragon. Alright, let's start off with Ogre R5. Here it is. It's a blue version, and honestly, this guy just brings back bad flashbacks from when I versed Blastone Kid in the Beyblade Burst app.
Now get ready to meet your demise.
And he beat me with Ogre.
Have you ever seen Shrek?
But I haven't watched it over the age, and he was singing like the Smash Mouth song. It was horrible. Anyway, this guy comes with 0, which is a fairly heavy disc, and it comes in this, oh, look how big the drivers are on these Beyblades. It comes with kind of a slime green driver. And the other Beyblade that comes in this dual pack is, of course, Rock Dragon. Again, very anime accurate, and it comes with the same parts like all the other dragons. Alright, let's move on to the next dual pack. Here we have Dullahan D5 and Viper Hydrax H2. That's actually a really cool name, Viper Hydrax H2. Okay, first let's talk about Dullahan D5. This is an original Hasbro Beyblade, and Hasbro, I mean, I like the original, like, Beyblades, like, it's different than the Takara Tomy ones, but I do want to make a suggestion. These original Beyblades, like, they're really cool, and the designs are really cool and unique, but I feel like it's probably better if you just made upgraded versions of older Beyblades that Takara Tomy never released. Like, how cool would that be? If, you know, like, how we never got, how we never got a Chozy or a GT versions of Beyblades like Zilly and Zeus, or maybe like Gaia and Gaia. What if you made like your own Hasbro original Beyblade, but just evolutions of the older ones? Because the problems with these, at least in my opinion, is that they're cool, but they don't appear in the anime. Like, we have no emotional connection to Dullahan D5. But if you release like an upgraded, like an evolved version of Zilly and Zeus, or an evolved version of like Gaia and Gaia or something like that, that would be amazing. I would definitely buy those. So yeah, that would definitely give me more incentive. But overall, these Beyblades aren't that bad either, although again, I would enjoy like evolutions more. Anyway, so yeah, here's Dullahan D5. Overall, not really sure. I don't really like the color scheme of this guy, actually. It's kind of like all over the place. Like the black chip and the red, I don't think it looks very nice. Next up, let's move on to the disc. I don't even know what disc this is. I think this has to be an original Hasbro disc, because I've never seen a Takara Tomy disc look like this. What's it called? It's called D75. Okay, thank you, Hasbro. I wish they didn't give us these code names either. They should just be normal names, you know? And then finally, we have this nice blue driver. Next up in the dual pack, we have Viper Hydrax H5, and Viper Hydrax, in my opinion, looks a lot better than Dullahan, or I don't even know how to pronounce this guy, Dullahan, whatever the red one is. This one looks a lot better. I definitely like the green color scheme, and just the red in the middle looks really nice. Next up, the disc that comes with this Beyblade is 11, and 11 is extremely light, and it's fairly bad. Next up is the driver, and it comes in this really nice red. It comes in this kind of crimson red color. The next dual pack we have is Left Astro A5 and Race Devolos D5. So this is where you get the left spin version of Devolos in this dual pack. Alright, first off, we have Erase Devolos, and of course it comes in the white and red color scheme. It also comes with the Vanguard disc, just like Venom Devolos, but unlike Venom Devolos, it comes with a different driver, which is interesting. Like, it's like version 2 of the bullet driver. I feel like both the one that released on Erase and the one that released on Venom are both based off the bullet driver, but they are different drivers. As you can see, the one on Erase is a lot rounder than the one that released on Venom. Next up, we have have Left Astro, and Left Astro, I think that the Takara one was orange, and this is a nice blue color scheme. I think there was a random booster where Takara released a Left Apollo with a blue color scheme, but yeah, this one's kind of unique. The disc that comes on the sky is the Blitz disc, or the Hasbro version of the Blitz disc. We saw this guy in Valkyrie, and then finally we have this kind of interesting driver. I think it's based off the spiral driver. If you look at the middle, there's like a little star spiral shape, so that's what makes me think it's based off that. Maybe it'll come on the longest when we unbox that guy. So yeah, that was Left Astro and Erase Devolos. Erase Devolos again is a left spin Beyblade. They're both left spin Beyblades. Next we have Gargoyle G5 and Cosmic Kraken K5. These names are amazing. Like, they made like a Gargoyle Beyblade and a Kraken Beyblade, and I think they actually made Chozy versions of both these guys. So these are kind of like evolutions of their older Beyblades. Okay, Hasbro, again, it's awesome that you're making evolutions of your older Beyblades, your older original Beyblades, but please make evolutions of the Takara Beyblades, or maybe make evolutions of the Beyblades that didn't get a GT evolution or a sparking evolution. That would have been so cool. Beyblades that didn't appear in the anime, that would be amazing. Anyway, let's unbox this guy. Alright, so first off, we have Gargoyle G5, and this is probably my favorite Hasbro original Beyblade. I think it looks really nice. I definitely like the color scheme. I like the two heads sticking out. It's definitely a really good design in my opinion, although it is fairly light. I mean, all Hasbro Beyblades are fairly light. What am I saying? Alright, next up we have the disc, and I think this is a Hasbro original disc. It's not based on any Takara disc, because I don't think I've ever seen a Takara disc like this. This is really interesting. And then finally we have the driver, which looks like it's a Hypersphere version of the Keep driver that released on Bushin Ashindra. The other Beyblade that came in this set is Kraken K5, and honestly, Kraken Beyblade is really cool, and Hasbro did make one, and it looks fairly nice. I think this is the evolution of their Chozy one. It comes with, what is this, the 10 disc, which is very heavy. It's probably one of the best core discs. And then finally, it comes with this interesting Hypersphere driver. It's a purple color, which looks really nice, and it looks really long. I don't think we've unboxed this one before. Alright, finally moving on to the final dual pack we have for today. We have Ray Artemis A5 and Dusk Balkesh B5. That's a really cool name. I definitely like Dusk Balkesh, and I definitely think they made Dread Bahamut, or Hasbro made Dread Bahamut look really cool. Like, that's a really cool color scheme of Dread Bahamut. I feel like Hasbro did Dread Bahamut well. Anyway, let's open this guy up. Alright, so here's Dusk Balkesh. Again, it has a really nice color scheme. I like the kind of like seafoam green, that it really sticks out compared to the nice kind of darker purple color scheme on Balkesh. Anyway, moving on to the disc. The disc on this guy is 7. I think 7 released on the original Dread Bahamut, except the original Dread Bahamut came with the wall frame. This guy does not come with the wall frame. And then finally, we have Metal Orbit, or Hasbro's version of a Metal Orbit, which I guess isn't really Metal Orbit. This is kind of just Hasbro version of Orbit. And again, I feel like all Hypersphere Beyblades look fairly similar, but I don't know, maybe in the stadium they'll act different, because of course Hyperspheres have this like really interesting kind of oval stadium where all the Hypersphere drivers kind of hold on to when it makes them do crazy attack powers. Alright, and the next Beyblade we have is an orange recolor of Artemis A5. There's not really much to say about Artemis. I mean, it's a Beyblade. Also, I don't know if you can customize Artemis with whatchamacallit, Artemis with Apollo with Hasbro's, but you might be able to. I might try that out off camera. Anyway, next up we have the disc, and I don't think this is a disc that was inspired by any Takara disc. I think this is a Hasbro original. It kind of looks like Hurricane, but at the same time it doesn't. And then finally we have the driver, and it's a nice orange Hypersphere driver. So yeah, that was all of the dual packs. Let's move on to the single packs now. Alright, so here are all of the Hasbro single packs. I kind of want to start off with Zone Luinor R5 just because it's the coolest one out of the bunch. All the other ones are like Hasbro originals, and then for some reason they released a recolor of Air Knight, but don't ask, it fell, whatever. But yeah, this is probably the coolest one. Here we have Zone Luinor, and it looks amazing in the package. I definitely do like the Hasbro version of the Drake disc. It definitely looks like the Takara one, except of course it doesn't come with the blue plastic around it, so because you can put a frame on it, of course. And then finally the spiral driver. It looks like the blue spiral driver that we got before is indeed the same spiral driver that is going to release on this guy. So let's open this guy up real quick. So here is Zone Luinor. Overall, again, very accurate to the anime. I don't really like the blue on the side. I feel like it just doesn't look good. I don't like it. I feel like it's very out of place on this Beyblade. And then of course we have the Drake disc, which looks amazing. It has just the same amount of detail that the Takeratomi has, except it doesn't have the plastic ground like I said before, because you can put a frame on it. And then we already talked about this Spiral guy, except this one comes in a nice purple color. Next, I guess we'll move on to Air Knight since it fell. Let's open this guy up. Alright, so here's Air Knight A5, and I don't know the difference between Air Knight A5 and Air Knight A4. I think they're the same thing, except this one's a different color scheme. Actually, I was making fun of Air Knight, but actually looking at it on camera, it does look really cool. I think the Air Knight in the middle looks amazing. The black color scheme looks really awesome. With the gold around it, it looks fairly amazing. And oh my goodness, actually the green, the emerald green, actually this isn't really an emerald green, but it is a deep green. I think the deep green looks really nice. Moving on, it comes with the 8 dash or the 8 prime disc. Not really much to say about that guy. And then finally we get this kind of what color is this? I don't know. It's not really like a mint green. It's kind of like, you know how when you go outside in the winter and like the grass is kind of frozen? It's kind of that color of green. I'm not really sure how to describe it. I don't really like this green though. It doesn't look very good. Okay, the next Hasbro single pack we're opening is Rudr R5. Alright, so here is Rudr R5. Honestly, I'm not really sure what to say about it. I do like the arrow design. I think the arrow design looks really cool, and kind of the grayish foggy plastic looks fairly interesting as well. I feel like Hasbro should do this more often, because I remember back in like the dual layer days, they had really foggy plastic, and if they colored the foggy plastic, I think it looks amazing, and they definitely use this to work with its design. The disc that comes on this Beyblade is, what is this disc? The 7 disc. 7 is an alright disc. It's not amazing, it's not bad. It's probably on the better side actually. And then finally it comes with this yellow Hypersphere driver. Next, let's talk about Solar Sphinx S5. Alright, so here is Solar Sphinx S5. Overall, the chip definitely reminds me of a Valkyrie chip for some reason, although I know it's a Sphinx, of course. Anyway, it has an S at the top, and it definitely like kind of rocks like an Egyptian look. It reminds me of Acid Anubis. The parts that come on this guy, it looks like the disc is the 6 disc. 6 is definitely a bad disc. It's worse than 7. And then finally, it comes with this kind of dark navy blue Hypersphere driver. Alright, and finally, the final single pack we're going to be opening is Morrigna M5. I definitely like this guy. Like I feel like the chip design looks amazing. Like the bird looks really cool. Anyway, let's open this up. Alright, so yeah, here's Morrigna M5. Overall, the chip design, it kind of reminds me of Dead Phoenix, which I think is fairly cool, and it does look pretty small, but it's actually a very thick, chunky Beyblade. Like, it's super thick, except it's a very small Beyblade. I kind of want to compare it to a Takeratomi Beyblade. When you compare it to something like Imperial Dragon, this guy is tiny. Anyway, let's move on to the next part. It comes with, oh no, not the 11 disc again. It comes with the 11 disc. The 11 disc sucks. And then finally we have yellow Hypersphere driver. So yeah, those were all the starter packs, the dual packs, the single packs. The only thing we have left is this giant Beyblade Stadium set, which I'm gonna go to another camera angle because I definitely can't fit this guy in the camera angle we're doing right now, so I'll be right back. Okay, so here we are at the match. It's still too big, whatever, we're gonna open it anyway. Here is the Hypersphere set. Let's just open it up real quick. Okay, so here is the Hypersphere Stadium, and it does look like there's nothing to balance it, although maybe there's pegs that hold on so like the Beyblade doesn't move around, or the Beyblade Stadium doesn't move around. But honestly, I think it'd be fun to just have like a Beyblade battle with the moving stadium. That would be fairly cool. And like I said before, it's not a round design, it has kind of an oval shape. Kind of reminds me of like a squash kind of shape to it, like a kind of fruit shape to it, or a pear. Anyway, here are the Beyblades. Let's open this up and look at the Beyblades inside of it. Alright, so here are the Beyblades inside. It comes with Ace Dragon with its original color scheme, which I think looks way nicer than that green one that released in the starter pack. And it also comes with the green Ashindra with its original color scheme. And honestly, the red one was alright, but I definitely prefer the green one more. Anyway, so yeah, that was my unboxing of every single Hasbro Hypersphere Beyblade, at least that's been released so far. Remember to rate, comment, and subscribe if you guys do want to see see more Hypersphere videos, or maybe more videos on Hasbro products, leave a like, and I think I might do a draft battle with Hypersphere Beyblades with Jake, at least after quarantine dies down. If quarantine dies down, quarantine please die down soon. I even want to go to school. Isn't that so sad? Like kids want to go to school now. That's crazy. Anyways, yeah, see you guys later. Have a nice day. LeftBurst out. Alright, so as promised, I'm going to show you all of the QR codes. We're going to go through them relatively fast, so pause the video if you want to scan them. Original color Ace Dragon, original color Bushin Ashindra, recolor version of Ace Dragon, recolor version of Bushin Ashindra, Judgement Joker, Luinor L5, Sword Valtryek, Venom Devolos, Erase Devolos, Rock Dragon, Glyph Dragon, Dusk Balkesh, Astro A5, Artemis A5. Here's the recolor of Air Knight K5. Next we have all the Hasbro exclusive Beyblades. First off, here's Ogre 05. Next up we have Gargoyle G5, Morrigna M5, Kraken K5, Solar Sphinx S5, Viper Hydrax H5, Dullahan D5, and then finally we have this one. I don't remember his name, but here's the QR code. So yeah, I probably butchered all those names, I'm sorry. But remember to rate, comment, subscribe. If you guys want to see more Hasbro content, I might upload that in the future. So yeah, see you guys later. Have a nice day. LeftBurst.